Hello, today we're going to do a simple door and key piece of code, essentially where you'll be able to pick up a key and open a door. Try and do it the most efficient way possible, whilst also giving you some room to keep on making it modular. So by the end of the video, we'll have an outcome where you'll be able to pick up a key and then walk over to this door and then use it and say we have another set of key and we can pick that up and then we can use it on a different door. So what we're going to do to start off is by making the actual blueprints, which are going to be our door and which are going to be our key. We can essentially just right click on the content browser, go up to blueprint class, go up to actor, and then we're just going to call the first one BP underscore door. And then we're going to make another of the same actor and call it BP underscore key. Perfect. I'm going to make one more thing, which is going to be called a blueprint interface. You'll find that underneath the blueprint drop-down menu here. And we'll go along to interfaces and we'll call that one BPI underscore door. And this is going to hold our information. It's going to allow us to pass information between the character, the door, and the key. Perfect. So what we're going to do is start off by opening up that door blueprint. We have an empty space blueprint. We're going to go up to the left side of the screen here, click add. We're going to just add a cube. And what I like to do is to sometimes drag it into the scene just so I can get a size reference. I'm just going to make something really simple. You might have your own meshes, you might have your own things, but just as a little placeholder, it's always good to just, have a little block out of what you want to achieve. So this can be placed in the scene, like so. It's a pretty good height. I like it. We're going to add a box collision, like so. And all we're going to do is just move this so it matches the same sort of size. This is just going to be the distance in which you want to be able to interact with your doors. I'm happy with that. And you just compile. Perfect. Now we're just going to minimize that. We're going to open up the key. Now for our key, we're going to keep it extremely detailed. A nice high quality 4K mesh. Boom. Sorted. And we're going to add a collision. Again, same system. This is going to be the pick up distance. And I'll just drag it into the scene and see if that looks good. That is massive. We're just going to shrink that down just a tad. Perfect. But we're just going to compile that like so. Perfect. Now, what some people may do is go into the box, right click, add event, add overlap, and then destroy, and then maybe something else. This is very simple to pick up a key just to destroy it, like you walk into it and it destroys itself. It works, but I don't like this way as it's not extremely modular. The best way that we are going to use is using the interfaces. Interfaces are a very smart way of passing information between two blueprints. And essentially, we're going to start off by naming one of these functions over here on the top right, pick up key. And we're going to add another function, and we're going to call this one open door. And now, under the pick up key function, we're going to go down on the right side here and click on output, click the plus. We're going to make this one called it door ref, as this is going to be the reference to the specific door that we want it to unlock. We're going to click on this little variable section here, and we're going to search for BP door, or whatever you named your door. Perfect. So BP door, object reference, and that's all you're going to need to do. We're just going to compile that for now. Now, to be able to access, or be able to actually call these things, we're going to have to add that blueprint interface to these blueprints. So on both the door and the key, we're going to go up to the top here where it says class settings. Click that, and on the right hand side here it should say implemented interfaces. At the moment we have none. We're just going to add the one that we created, so BPI door. Perfect. Just compile that. Same for the key, BPI door. Now we're going to be able to actually access this in the third person character. Now if we go to the third person character, in here, in theory, we could just push E, keyboards, implement, sorted, but I don't like that. We're going to stick to keeping professional the best way we can. We're going to come over here. There's already an input section for us. We're going to use the enhanced inputs for us. So this is the one I created earlier, but I'll create a new one. So you just right click over here, and we're going to click inputs and then input actions. I'm going to say IA underscore interact. So literally all I did was delete the old one and put the new one back in. It's just because I couldn't duplicate names, and we don't even need to open that. So that's perfect. We're going to go into the IMC default like so, and under here is the add button. It would normally be closed up for you guys. So if you just click the add button and drop down the menu, it will say none because we just added one, and we're going to add the IA interact. Now this is where we can add multiple inputs. Say you wanted to click this button here and we do E, you can add another input and say F. So if we push F and E, or F or E, sorry, the input will fire off. This is depending on how you want it to be. You can have any sort of button here. You have this menu here if you want to add controller gamepads. It's really up to you. It's very nice. Just for now, I'm going to keep it as E. And underneath the triggers, we're going to just add one, and we're going to do the none, and we're just going to click pressed. So it means when we press the button, the input will fire. You have a lot of options here depending on what your sort of goal is, but this is just perfect for a door. Now I'm going to go into the third person character, and I'm going to search for IA interact. Now this is when it gets kind of fun. We actually get to see some blueprints. We're just going to right click in the middle of nowhere and do get overlapping actors. Perfect. Now you get this node here. This will check for any actors that you are overlapping, which is specified by this filter. We're just going to search for BP key for now. Okay, and off of this overlapping actors, this symbol here means an array, which means multiple actors inside a certain object. We're just going to drag off of this, type for each loop, like so. We're going to collect this up to this, like that. And then off the blue, we're going to check for does implement interface. Now we can check if that interface that we added over here, if that blueprint actually has that interface, because you might have multiple blueprints, but not the ones with the specific interface. Anyways, we're going to just come off of here. We're going to cite branch, and the branch statement will check, does it have that interface? And it will single out the ones that we are specifically overlapping. So it won't get the floor, it won't get any of that. It will get the specific key that we are wanting to get because we're inside the trigger box. Anyway, we're going to drag off this array element because it will get the one that we're talking about. And we're just going to call that function we created, which was the pick up key message. You know you've done the right thing if you see the little envelope one. There might be multiple. Choose the one that says bracket message, as it allows to pass information between those, the main character and the blueprint. So now we're going to go into the BP key, and we're going to see underneath these interfaces there's a drop down menu. This is only here due to the fact that we had the blueprint, and it will get all the functions that are in that blueprint interface, and they're all laid down here. Now we won't need the open door one, but we'll need the pickup key. So this, if we double click that, it will come into a function. The reason this one comes into a function is because we have an input or an output, because it needs to carry information differently, instead of it just being a normal input, which is just an event. So we won't need that. So we're going to need a way to actually get a reference to what door we want the key to interact with. The way we do this is we're going to add a variable. We're going to call this one door ref, and we're going to click this, and we're going to do the same thing we did earlier, which was just BP door. I'm going to go down here and then object reference, like so, and we're then going to connect this one up to here. Perfect. Now we're going to also select this little I. This is very important because it allows us to specifically edit that key in the scene, because it's now instance editable. So depending on the instance, it might have a different variable that's connected. So now we have the key, if we have it selected, if you look over the side here, we now have that variable door reference. We will have an option to have all the different doors in the scene because we specifically selected BP door. You can also use the ink dropper tool if it's not there, or something's going on, and you can specifically select what door you would like. So if I had multiple doors in and multiple keys, I can select those specific doors for those keys. So say this one, I would like it to have this door, or I want to go this one, and I want this door to have this one. And it will have different ones, which is really interesting. It's really cool. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to make it a little bit more room, and we're going to go off this middle pattern, and we're going to say destroy actor. Now this will destroy the actor, but pass over the door that we want it to interact with to the main character. Now what we're going to do in the third person character, we're going to add another variable, and we're going to call this one door array, or whatever you'd like to call it. It's essentially going to be a list of all the doors that we have access to. And we're going to click this, do BP door, make it object reference, but we're going to do something slightly different here. We're going to go up to the right here, and with this little drop down menu, instead of it being a single node, we're going to make it an array. Also, something I forgot to add earlier was under the does implement interface, we just see the drop down menu, and we're going to type the interface that we want it to reference, which is the BPI door. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the door array, we're going to get it, we're going to drag off that, click add, and this is going to essentially add that door to the list of doors that we can actually interact with from the specific key. We can test this from an event tick, just so we know that it's working, like so. We're going to grab a for each loop. If you're wondering how I did that, I just held down F and left click. And we're going to grab that, connect that up to there. And we're going to just grab another print, like so. And we're going to connect the array element to that print. We're just going to test whether or not our list is actually being got. So we're going to grab that. We're getting all just doors. We're going to grab that. We now got both doors, and we've got all three doors now. So we have access to all three doors. But at the moment, if we go up to them, push E, it's not going to do much. So that's how we set it up. Very simple. A lot of copy and pasting. I'm just going to delete this tick for now. We can grab out all of this up to the branch. I'm just going to copy it, and we're going to paste it right below. Because it's going to be the same interaction key, but with a slightly different things we're checking for. So we're going to be checking for the BP door. So all you want to do is just change that BP key to BP door, because now we're getting the overlapping door. And we're going to check the interface is going to be the exact same, because they both hold that BP door. But we're going to get a different message. So we drag off the array element, and we're going to look for open door, and make sure it's just that one. Perfect. Connect that up. Actually, first, before this, we just need to add another for each loop, because we're going to check whether or not we have the right door to interact with it. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to drag back out this array. We're going to drag out this one here. We're going to type equals, and we're going to check that if this BP door array, if all of them in that array, if one of them is equal to the one that we were just done, it's going to run the code. Set to true. So essentially, we got our for each loop of all the doors that we are overlapping with. If they do implement the interface, which they should, and they are equal to one of the doors that the key's given us access to through this, because it's going to check all of them. It's going to check if it's equal. If it is, then it will run the code, which we need to go and double check. So if we go into the open door, just compile that quickly, and go into the event graph. We haven't got much code, don't need any of that. We can double click the open door, and all we need to do, very simple, destroy actor. I mean, here we could add all fancy smanchy rotations, open up, animations, here, there, timelines, all of this. But at the moment, I'm going to keep it simple and just do a destroy actor. If you would like to know how to use timelines to make that actually rotate or move, just let me know in the comments. Perfect. So if we pick up this key and we interact with this door, it destroys it, and we have access to where we want to go to. But we can test if it's properly working by grabbing a random key and trying to interact with this one, pushing the same button, and it's not working, because it only works with the door that we had selected using the it dropper. We can pick up this one and do that. Now, it will hold multiple pieces of information. We can pick up this one, and this one, and in any order we want, we can open these doors or destroy them in our case. Perfect. So that means that wherever you drag this door blueprint in and those keys, they will specifically work for it. So this is why we like to keep modular. You can make child actors if you want different doors or different meshes, or you could even create a boolean that may be, like an object reference that will specifically change the static mesh of that door if you want different doors or whatever it may be, different keys, key cards, no matter what it may be. You can just drag them into the scene and it should work for you. So I hope that's all helped for you guys. If you've got any other sort of things you want to help with, any other things you've got questions about this video, any tips on what I can do to improve these, this is my first one, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate that.